Security Chief Zara Vex stood motionless before the grand observation window of Outpost Sigma 7, her iridescent scales shifting colors as she processed the impossible sensor readings. After 3 centuries of monitoring the Coalition's borders, she had never encountered anything like this. A single ship, just one, was approaching Coalition space at velocities that shouldn't be possible without tearing itself apart. "Confirm these readings," she commanded, her secondary eyes focusing on the holographic displays while her primary set remained fixed on the distant spark of light that was rapidly becoming visible to natural sight. The spark pulsed with a gentle, almost organic rhythm that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space-time. Her second-in-command, Anx 427, a being of living crystal and light, chimed in response. "Readings confirmed, Chief. The vessel maintains its approach at approximately 47,000 times our maximum sustainable velocity. Yet, the crystalline being's facets flickered in confusion. There is no wake signature, no spatial distortion, no quantum foam disruption. By all our measurements, it shouldn't be moving at all." Zara Vex's scales rippled with dark blue patterns of concern. Every spacefaring species in the Coalition knew the fundamental laws of faster-than-light travel. The energy requirements alone meant you needed at least 3 ships working in concert to maintain a stable warp field. That was why first contact protocols always involved small fleets. It was physically impossible to do otherwise. Until now. "What do we know about the origin point?" she asked, her tail tip twitching with suppressed agitation. "The vessel identifies itself as the Aurora, from Earth." Anx 427's crystalline form sparkled with excitement. Earth was classified as a pre-spacefaring civilization just 70 years ago. The cartographers marked them as interesting but primitive, noting their peculiar obsession with fictional space travel. A dry chuckle escaped Zara Vex. Primitive. Yet here they are, casually breaking half the laws of physics we hold dear. She straightened her ceremonial sash, a habit from her academy days. "Have they responded to our hails?" "Yes, Chief. Audio and visual transmission, though the visual feed is unusual." Anx 427 projected the incoming signal into the air between them. The image that formed was not the expected view of a ship's bridge or command center. Instead, it showed what appeared to be a garden, with trees swaying in a non-existent breeze and a human female sitting cross-legged on grass that sparkled with morning dew. Behind her, the garden seemed to stretch infinitely, somehow containing mountains and oceans within what should have been the confines of a spaceship. "Greetings, Outpost Sigma 7, the human said, opening eyes that held the same strange rhythm as her ship's pulsing light. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Aurora. We come seeking peaceful contact with the Galactic Coalition." Zara Vex noticed immediately that the captain's image wasn't a recording. The human's eyes tracked her movements with real-time precision. "Captain Chen, this is Security Chief Zara Vex. Your vessel's capabilities are unprecedented. Our protocols for first contact require a minimum of 3 ships, maintaining triangulated warp fields." Captain Chen finished with a gentle smile. "We've studied your protocols extensively. However, Aurora isn't using what you would consider conventional FTL travel. She dreams her way through space." The security chief's scales shifted to a puzzled yellow. "Dreamed her way." "Humanity discovered something unique during our early quantum physics experiments," Chen explained. "Consciousness doesn't just observe quantum states, it can guide them. We learned to dream in quantum, to fold space not through brute force, but through imagination guided by precision mathematics. Aurora isn't just a ship, she's a dreaming mind, carrying us through her dreams of flight." Anx 427's crystalline form vibrated with scientific curiosity. "Impossible. The energy requirements alone become trivial when you stop fighting physics and start dancing with it," Chen said. "We'd be happy to share our findings, but first," her expression grew serious, "we should warn you about the reason for our haste. We've detected something following the old trade routes toward Coalition space, something that doesn't dream, but devours. Zara Vex felt her scales prickle. In 3 centuries of service, she had learned to trust her instincts. This human captain, with her impossible ship and talk of dreams, should have triggered every security protocol in her arsenal. Instead, she felt an unfamiliar sensation. Hope. "The Coalition Council will need to be notified," she said carefully. "Our nearest diplomatic station is 3 light years from this position. Under normal circumstances, we can be there in 17 minutes, Chen offered. "Aurora is particularly fond of that region of space. She says the starlight there tastes like honey." Before Zara Vex could process that strange statement, her tactical officer, a synthetic being named Array, spoke up. "Chief, long-range sensors are detecting unusual disturbances along the trade routes. Multiple ships have gone silent in the past hour." The human captain's image nodded grimly. "They're moving faster than we anticipated. Chief Zara Vex, I know this is highly irregular, but time is precious. Will you trust us enough to accept an unusual first contact?" Zara Vex studied the human's face, then looked out at the aurora, still pulsing its gentle rhythm against the star field. In 3 centuries, she had never broken protocol. But then, in 3 centuries, she had never seen a ship dance with quantum dreams. "X-427, transmit the diplomatic station's coordinates to the Aurora," she commanded. "Captain Chen, we will meet you there." And she hesitated, then added, "Thank you for the warning." The human smile returned. "Thank you for your trust, Chief. Aurora says she looks forward to showing you how humans dream among the stars." The transmission ended, and Zara Vex watched as the Aurora's pulsing light brightened momentarily before the ship simply ceased to be, leaving behind only a faint echo of what sounded almost like laughter. "Orders, Chief," X-427 asked. "Alert the Council. Tell them." She paused, her scales shifting through a rainbow of emotions. "Tell them humanity has arrived, and they've brought impossible dreams with them. And then start analyzing every scrap of data we have on those trade route disturbances. I suspect we're about to learn why the humans chose this particular moment to make their entrance." As her staff rushed to comply, Zara Vex remained at the window, watching the space where the Aurora had been. In all her years of service, she had helped catalog thousands of species, each with their own unique approach to the cosmos. But never had she encountered one that looked at the iron laws of physics and decided to dream their way through them. Perhaps, she thought, that was exactly what the Coalition needed right now. A species that didn't know what was impossible, and therefore made the impossible dream itself into reality. The diplomatic station Harmony 9 hung in space like a crystalline snowflake, its transparent surfaces refracting starlight in complex patterns. Within its central chamber, representatives from 12 Coalition species argued vehemently about the Aurora's arrival. Zara Vex observed from her security post, her scales now a muted gray of professional neutrality. "They refuse to explain their propulsion technology in detail," complained Ambassador Tekroth, his metallic exoskeleton clanking as he gestured. "How can we trust a species that makes such astronomical leaps without sharing their methods?" Captain Chen sat calmly in the center of the storm, still projecting from what appeared to be her garden. The impossible space behind her now showed a sunset over an ocean that couldn't exist within a spacecraft. "We're not refusing to share, Ambassador. We're simply suggesting that your current scientific framework needs adjustment before our methods will make sense." The debate might have continued indefinitely if Array hadn't burst into the chamber, his synthetic form glowing with urgent patterns. Multiple contacts detected. 37 vessels just appeared on the trade route vectors. Zara Vex's scales flashed combat red. "Configuration unknown," Array reported, "but they're consuming all matter in their path. 3 Coalition patrol ships just disappeared. No debris, no energy signature, just gone." The chamber erupted in chaos. Ambassador Tekroth turned to Chen. "Is this some human deception? A ploy to force our cooperation?" Chen's expression remained serene, but her eyes had taken on that strange rhythmic quality again. This is what we came to warn you about. We call them entropy hunters. They followed humanity's early quantum experiments, attracted to our dreams like moths to flame. We learned to hide our dreams, but they found other prey. Incoming. A ray's warning cut through the chamber. 5 vessels on direct approach. Through the station's transparent walls, they could see them now, ships that seemed to be made of absence itself, holes in space that consumed light rather than reflecting it. Where they passed, stars simply winked out. Harmony 9's shields are inadequate against this threat, Chen said, standing. With your permission, we'll demonstrate why humanity sent only one ship. Before anyone could respond, the garden behind her shifted. Suddenly, it seemed they were looking into Aurora's heart, a space that somehow contained galaxies in miniature, swirling in patterns that hurt the mind to observe. Aurora, Chen said softly, show them how humans dream of defense. The physical ship outside the station began to pulse, but now the rhythm was different, less like a heartbeat and more like a song. Space itself seemed to ripple, and suddenly there were multiple auroras, then dozens, then hundreds. But they weren't solid ships. They were dream images, quantum possibilities made manifest. The entropy hunters paused their approach, seemingly confused by the proliferation of targets. Then Aurora's dream copies began to move, dancing in complex patterns that left trails of actualizing possibility in their wake. Where these trails intersected, space itself became solid, forming a lattice of reality that trapped the void ships like insects in amber. What you're seeing, Chen explained to the stunned audience, is quantum possibility crystallized into certainty. Aurora is dreaming of protection, and her dreams are becoming real. Zara Vex watched in fascination as the trapped entropy hunters struggled against their quantum cages. But how is this possible? The energy requirements. Stop thinking in terms of energy, Chen suggested. Think in terms of probability and intention. Aurora doesn't need to overpower them. She simply dreams of a universe where they cannot move, and makes that dream real enough to matter. The void ships began to dissolve, not consumed but simply becoming less probable until they faded from existence. In their place hung crystals of frozen possibility, beautiful and terrible in their implications. Ambassador Tekroff's exoskeleton had shifted to a respectful copper hue. Your ship dreams of defense. Aurora dreams of many things, Chen said. Defense, exploration, connection. We sent one ship because one is all we needed, not as a show of force, but as a demonstration of perspective. Humanity looked at the universe and asked not what we could force it to do, but what we could dream together with it. Zaravex's scales had shifted to deep purple, the color of paradigm shifts. The other entropy hunters will come. Yes, Chen agreed. That's why we're here. Not just for first contact, but for first collaboration. Aurora can dream defense into reality, but she's just one dreamer. Imagine what we could accomplish if we taught others to dream with us. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Through the windows, Aurora's quantum lattice continued to shine, a physical testament to humanity's gift for making the impossible probable. I believe, Zaravex said carefully, that the Coalition's first contact protocols may need revision. They never accounted for a species that would arrive not with a fleet of ships, but with a fleet of dreams. Array sensors suddenly pulsed with new data. The remaining entropy hunters are changing course, moving to surround this sector. Estimated time to encirclement: 6 hours. Chen's garden projection showed stars falling like rain now, each one a possible future. Then we have 6 hours to teach you to dream with us. Aurora says the starlight here still tastes like honey. Perfect for beginners. She smiled. Shall we begin? Looking at the quantum lattice shining outside, Zaravex realized that humanity hadn't sent a ship at all. They'd sent a teacher, a dreamer, a possibility made real. And perhaps that was exactly what the galaxy needed. The meditation chamber aboard Harmony 9 had never been used quite like this before. Representatives from 7 coalition species sat in a circle, their attention focused on holographic displays showing quantum probability waves that danced like aurora borealis. In the center, Captain Chen's projection sat cross-legged, her garden now showing a night sky filled with impossible constellations. "The key," she explained, "isn't forcing the quantum state to collapse the way you want. It's about becoming the observer who expects, who knows, that reality will align with your intention." Next to Zara Vex, Ambassador Tekroth's exoskeleton whirred in frustration. "But this defies every principle of quantum mechanics we've established over millennia." Perhaps, a new voice interjected, "That is precisely why the entropy hunters never found us before humans did." All eyes turned to Elder Ix, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix. The Elder had arrived an hour ago, breaking the century of seclusion to address this crisis. Now their crystalline form pulsed with patterns that matched Aurora's rhythm. "Explain," Zara Vex prompted, her scales shifting to the deep blue of intellectual curiosity. "We built our civilizations on certainty," Elder Ix continued. "We observed the quantum realm, measured it, forced it into predictable patterns. In doing so, we became blind to its dreams." They turned to Chen. "But humans never lost their ability to dream, did they?" Chen smiled. "We almost did. There was a time when we thought technology and dreams were opposites. Then we discovered the quantum consciousness effect, the way human minds could influence quantum states through focused imagination. Most dismissed it as a curiosity. But not all," Elder Ix prompted. "No. A small group theorized that if individual consciousness could influence quantum states, perhaps a collective consciousness could do more. We built Aurora not as a ship, but as a dream amplifier. She doesn't just carry us through space, she carries our collective ability to dream." Array, monitoring the approaching entropy hunters, interrupted. 4 hours until encirclement is complete. The void ships are adapting to Aurora's quantum lattice. Previous containment patterns are showing decreased effectiveness. Chen nodded grimly. "They learn. They're not just hunters, they're problem solvers. Each encounter makes them more efficient at consuming probability itself." Zara Vex's scales rippled with sudden understanding. "That's why you came now. Not just to warn us, but because you needed us." "Yes," Chen admitted. "Aurora is powerful, but she's just one dreamer. The entropy hunters are learning to counter a single dream pattern. But if we could combine different species' ways of dreaming." "You want to create a collective consciousness across species." Ambassador Tekroth's exoskeleton rattled in shock. "The neural incompatibilities alone are irrelevant in the quantum realm," Elder Ix interrupted. "In the space between possibilities, patterns of thought matter more than their biological origin." They turned to Chen. "But there's more, isn't there? Something you haven't told us about how humans achieved this breakthrough so quickly." Chen's garden projection shifted, showing not stars now but synaptic patterns, quantum entanglements that looked disturbingly like neural networks. "We had help, not from aliens or ancient artifacts, but from our own dreams. When we first detected the quantum consciousness effect, we found something strange. Echo patterns, quantum signatures that suggested our ancestors had been unconsciously influencing quantum states for millennia. All those stories of magic," Zara Vex mused, "of people bending reality through will alone, were quantum manipulation on an instinctive level," Chen confirmed. "Aurora helped us understand that these abilities were never supernatural. They were quantum natural, a product of consciousness interacting with probability itself. We didn't invent quantum dreaming. We remembered it." An alarm blared, and Array's form pulsed red. Energy surge detected. 3 entropy hunters have merged into a larger configuration. They're dreaming too, but wrong somehow. Anti-dreams. Through the station's windows, they could see it. A void in space that seemed to consume not just light but possibility itself. Where it passed, Aurora's quantum lattice didn't just break. It ceased to have ever existed. "They're adapting faster than we anticipated," Chen said, her serene expression finally showing cracks of concern. "They're learning to unmake dreams." Elder Ix's crystalline form brightened. "Then we must learn to dream together, and quickly." "Captain, you said Aurora is a dream amplifier. Could she amplify other species' dreams as well?" "Theoretically, yes, but—" Chen stopped as Aurora's external form began to pulse with a new rhythm, one that resonated with Elder Ix's crystalline matrix. "She's already trying," Chen whispered. She says she can hear your dreams, Elder. They taste like stardust and time." Zeravex watched in fascination as patterns of light began to flow between Aurora and Elder Ix, quantum possibilities cascading in ways her sensors couldn't quite track. When the Elder spoke again, their voice carried echoes of human dreams merged with ancient crystalline songs. "I understand now," they said. "The entropy hunters aren't just consuming reality. They're consuming dreams themselves, feeding on lost possibilities. That's why they followed humanity's quantum experiments. You were the first dreamers they'd sensed in eons." 3 hours until full encirclement, Array reported. "The merged hunter is approaching Aurora's position." Chen stood, her garden projection now showing a dawn that seemed to break through multiple dimensions at once. "Then we have 3 hours to teach the Coalition to dream again. Elder Ix has shown it's possible. The question is," she looked around the chamber, "how many others are willing to remember what their species has forgotten?" Zaravex's scales shifted through colors she hadn't known she could make, settling on a hue that seemed to echo Aurora's pulsing rhythm. "I volunteer," she said, surprising herself. "If humanity can remember how to dream, so can we." One by one, others in the chamber stepped forward, each bringing their own patterns, their own forgotten songs of probability and possibility. Outside, Aurora's light began to change, becoming something newer and stranger, a harmony of dreams from across the galaxy, preparing to face the consumers of possibility itself. Time seemed to flow differently in Aurora's quantum field as the Coalition species learned to dream again. Zaravex felt her consciousness expand beyond her scales, beyond the physical limitations she'd always taken for granted. Around her, others were experiencing their own awakening. X-427's crystalline form had developed new facets that reflected possibilities rather than light. Ambassador Tekroth's mechanical exoskeleton now moved with organic fluidity, responding to quantum thoughts rather than electrical signals. Even Array, a purely synthetic being, had discovered an ability to process reality as probability clouds rather than binary code. 2 hours remaining, Array announced, his voice now carrying harmonics that suggested multiple quantum states speaking in unison. The merged hunter has consumed 60% of Aurora's original quantum lattice. Through the station's windows, they could see the massive void moving with terrible purpose, unmaking possibilities faster than Aurora could dream them into being. Behind it, more hunters were beginning to merge, learning from their predecessors' success. "They're not just adapting anymore," Chen observed, her garden projection now showing abstract patterns of quantum interference. "They're evolving. Each dream they consume makes them more efficient at unmaking the next." Elder Ix's crystalline matrix pulsed with concern. "Aurora cannot hold them alone, even with her current understanding of our dream patterns. We need more dreamers, awakened and coordinated. We need more time," Tekroth insisted, his exoskeleton now shifting colors like Zaravex's scales. "These abilities may be natural, but millennia of dormancy cannot be overcome in hours." Chen's expression remained calm, but her eyes held galaxies of concern. "Time isn't our ally here, but perhaps—" She paused as Aurora's external form began to pulse with a new rhythm, one that seemed to bend time itself around the station. "Aurora has an idea, but it's dangerous. She wants to create a quantum bubble, a space where time moves differently for us than for them. The energy requirements would be astronomical," Array calculated, "even with quantum manipulation." Not energy, Chen corrected. Certainty. Aurora needs us all to be absolutely certain that time will flow as we need it to. One dream, shared across all our species, focused on a single quantum possibility. Zaravex felt her scales ripple with understanding. A trial by fire. Either we learn to dream together right now, or reality itself begins to unravel. Elder Ix finished. The hunters won't stop with us. Once they've consumed all our dreams, they'll move on, growing stronger with each possibility they unmake. Chen stood, her garden projection showing time streams bending like light through a prism. Aurora will shield us, but she needs all of us to believe, not just to think it might work, but to know it will. The kind of certainty that collapses quantum waves into exactly the reality we need. How? Tekroth asked, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of mechanical precision. How do we achieve that level of certainty? Remember, Chen said simply. Remember what it was like before your species learned to doubt. Remember when you looked at the stars and knew you would reach them, when you dreamed of impossible things and made them real. Array sensors pulsed urgently. 90 minutes until full encirclement. The merged hunter has begun attacking Harmony 9's outer rings. Through the windows, they could see pieces of the station simply ceasing to exist, probability itself being consumed by the void. The station's conventional shields might as well have been missed before a storm. Now, Chen commanded, everyone focus. Aurora will show you the time stream we need. A bubble of accelerated possibility where we can remember how to dream before the hunters unmake our ability to do so. Zaravex closed her eyes, feeling Aurora's rhythm resonating with her own quantum patterns. Around her, she sensed others doing the same. Crystalline minds, mechanical thoughts, energy beings, and organic consciousness, all reaching for the same impossible certainty. Aurora's light began to change, becoming something that existed in more dimensions than space could hold. The garden in Chen's projection merged with the station itself until they couldn't tell where physical reality ended and quantum dreams began. Hold the pattern. Chen's voice echoed through multiple possibilities. See the time we need. Know that it exists. Make it real. Reality bent. In the space between moments, Zaravex felt her consciousness expand exponentially. She saw the quantum patterns that underlay all existence, recognized them as the dreams of the universe itself. She felt Elder Ix's ancient wisdom merging with Tekroth's precise calculations, Array's digital clarity harmonizing with organic intuition. And through it all, she felt Aurora, not just amplifying their dreams, but weaving them together into something new. A collective consciousness that transcended species while preserving what made each unique. Outside their quantum bubble, the entropy hunters continued their approach, but now they had time. Time to remember, time to dream, time to become something more than the sum of their separate species. Look, Array whispered in harmonics of pure mathematics. The patterns, they're not just random quantum fluctuations. They're music. Elder Ix finished. The universe isn't just allowing us to dream. It's teaching us how to dream together. In the center of their circle, Chen smiled as her garden projection filled with impossible flowers that bloomed in quantum superposition. Aurora says we're ready to begin the real training. The universe has been waiting a very long time for its children to remember how to dream together. Outside their bubble of accelerated time, the void grew larger, unmaking possibilities with increasing efficiency. But inside, surrounded by the quantum dreams of multiple species learning to harmonize their consciousness, Zaravex felt something she hadn't experienced in centuries of security work. Absolute certainty that impossible things were about to become probable. When the quantum bubble collapsed, exactly 1 hour remained until the entropy hunters would complete their encirclement. But the beings who emerged from that accelerated time stream were no longer the same entities who had entered it. Zaravex's scales now shimmered with quantum possibilities, each color existing in multiple states simultaneously. Tekroth's exoskeleton had evolved into a crystalline lattice that channeled dreams as easily as it had once channeled electricity. Array's synthetic consciousness had expanded into a quantum network that processed reality as endless waves of probability. Status report, Chen requested, her garden projection now showing a landscape that seemed to be dreaming itself into new forms with each passing moment. The merged hunter has consumed 80% of the original quantum lattice, Array reported, his voice harmonizing across multiple quantum states. 2 more merged entities have formed, but his quantum network pulsed with new understanding. They're not just consuming possibilities now. They're consuming the spaces between possibilities. The void between dreams, Elder X's crystalline form resonated. That's what they truly are, not hunters of energy or matter, but consumers of potential itself. Each dream they unmake leaves reality a little more fixed, a little less possible. Through the station's windows, they could see it happening. Where the hunters passed, space became somehow flatter, more defined, as if all the quantum uncertainty that made reality flexible was being drained away. Then we give them something they can't consume, Chen said, standing. Her garden projection shifted, showing not just possibilities but the connections between them, the quantum threads that bound all dreams together. Aurora has shown us how to harmonize our dreams. Now it's time to dream something bigger than any one species could imagine alone. Zuravex felt it then. A new rhythm pulsing through Aurora's quantum field, not just amplifying their individual dreams, but weaving them into something new. She sensed Elder X's timeless wisdom, merging with Tekroth's precise calculations, Array's digital clarity harmonizing with organic intuition. They're approaching in attack formation, Array announced, but his voice now carried notes of anticipation rather than fear. All 3 merged hunters moving to consume Harmony 9 directly. Chen's expression was serene as Aurora's external form began to pulse with colors that had never existed before this moment. Then let's show them what a galaxy remembers how to dream. It began with Elder X, their crystalline matrix resonating with frequencies that hadn't been heard since the universe was young. Tekroth added layers of mathematical precision, turning chaos into complex harmonies. Array contributed digital dreams that expanded into infinite fractals of possibility. And through it all flowed human dreams, carried by Aurora's quantum field. Dreams of impossible things made real, of barriers broken, of reality itself learning to dance to new rhythms. Zuravex felt her consciousness expand beyond her form, beyond the station, beyond conventional spacetime. She was aware of every being in the chamber contributing their own unique dreams to the growing symphony. More than that, she felt other minds awakening across coalition space, quantum consciousness responding to their harmonic like strings resonating with a struck chord. The entropy hunters paused in their approach, sensing something they had never encountered before. The void ships twisted in space, trying to adapt to this new phenomenon. But how do you consume a dream that exists everywhere and nowhere, that resonates with the quantum fabric of reality itself? Now, Chen whispered, her voice carrying through quantum states rather than air. Dream with everything you are. Dream of a universe that remembers how to change. Aurora's light exploded outward, not as energy but as pure possibility. The quantum lattice reformed, but now it wasn't just a defensive barrier. It was a new kind of space, one written in dreams rather than physics. Every species' unique perspective contributed to its structure, creating something that was simultaneously mathematics and music, science and symphony. The merged hunters tried to consume it, but each attempt only made the dream lattice stronger. For the first time, the void ships began to retreat, their ability to unmake reality faltering against this unprecedented phenomenon. They can't consume it, Array realized, his quantum network pulsing with joy. The harmony is too complex, too alive. Every dream they try to unmake spawns 1,000 new possibilities. Because we're not just dreaming of defense, Elder X resonated. We're dreaming of creation itself. Through the station's windows, they watched as the dream lattice continued to expand. its patterns becoming ever more intricate. Where it touched the void chips, they didn't so much dissolve as transform. Their entropy-consuming nature reversed until they became part of the universal dream, rather than its antithesis. The other hunters are retreating, Zara Vex observed, her scales reflecting quantum possibilities that had never existed before this moment. They're dreaming too. Different dreams, but no longer dreams of unmaking. Chen nodded, unsurprised. Aurora says this was always possible. The universe doesn't want to forget how to dream. It just needed its children to remember first. As the immediate crisis faded, Zara Vex became aware of signals pouring in from across coalition space. Other species were awakening to their own quantum consciousness, adding their dreams to the growing symphony. Reality itself seemed to be becoming more flexible, more alive with possibility. What happens now? Tekroth asked, his crystalline exoskeleton humming with new potentials. Now, Chen said, as her garden projection filled with flowers that bloomed in quantum superposition, we learn what dreams can become when an entire galaxy remembers how to shape them together. Aurora was just the beginning, a teacher to help us remember. The real journey starts here. The station hung in space, surrounded by a quantum lattice that pulsed with the combined dreams of multiple species. Where the entropy hunters had threatened to fix reality into unchanging patterns, now infinite possibilities danced between the stars. And in the heart of it all, a human ship named Aurora continued her gentle pulse, no longer alone in her dreaming, but part of a greater symphony, one that would ensure the galaxy never forgot how to dream again.